Morning, everybody. Michelle is here on this Friday, right? I don't even know anymore sometimes because I really don't need to keep up with the days of the week. Only if I have things to do, and so certain things are I'm going to need to start putting my attention towards certain things. So that's when I keep up with the day. My skin is kind of dry. That's fine. I'll put something on it later. But I'm up Friday morning here. Yeah, it's early over here on the West Coast. And, I I'm doing some researching and listening to videos on YouTube, which is my favorite place to go, especially for self education. And I think the majority of the benefit of learning, in my opinion, is through self education. In other words, you're learning the things that are curious to you, that are interesting to you, that you have a certain level of willingness to understand, right? Isn't that what learning is about? Is to understand what in the world is going on. So I like the self-education route. I know for when it comes to young people, the young generation, yes, you need to give them the fundamentals, how to read, write, arithmetic, all that kind of stuff. But I think instead of, this is my theories and opinion, but instead of saying, look, you need to go into college to do this, I think once kids get to 18, that's when you consider an adult. You make the decision, especially if you're giving the proper foundation. And what do I mean by the proper foundation? The proper foundation of teaching you how to think for yourself. Okay, if you get that type of foundation where you are thinking for yourself, you understand that you are accountable and responsible for your behavior and actions, I think an 18-year-old will make better decisions instead of everything being rolled out to them. Oh, you need to go to this college, you need to go to that college, because in my opinion, it's gonna be determined, far in the future, that we're gonna have to revamp, remaster, realign how we are teaching young people, and and kind of take some of this unrealistic burdens off of teachers that are teaching these young people, you know, um, and make it more about that, because some of these degrees and some of these classes, you know, they're wasteful, and let's be honest about it and not be so offended. A lot of these courses and classes and prerequisites and this and that and the other are just wasteful and um, non-useful for anything. It's about thinking for yourself and making decisions for yourself and being held accountable and responsible. That's what it's all about. I remember growing up. I mean, in the complexities of Black culture, but which was a lesson in itself, a major, powerful message growing up in Black culture, regardless of what anyone has to say. They can call it the hood, the ghetto, or whatever. A lot of that is when you have people snapping like that about Black culture or about women, there's some envy there. I can pick up envy in someone's voice when they're envious, because a lot of people uh, felt as though it was more important to be the head of the classroom, to leapfrog over everybody, to be so so enamored with their knowledge, so enamored with their brains, and they realize that means nothing, actually, and it doesn't. It means absolutely nothing. Okay, what makes a human being has to have experiences, and they have to go through the good and the bad, the ugly, okay, and come out a better human being. But no, we got these sociopath, psychopath, narcissistic type personalities out there who want all the attention on them, and mostly it's about their perception of how great they think they are, how great their minds are, you know, and a lot of these so-called geniuses and these so-called leaders are realizing, there's nothing but a bunch of smoke and mirrors, that you're being used in most cases, and most people can care less about anything else about you. A lot of these so-called intellectuals are going to figure that out. These so-called leaders are going to, or put it this way, they have figured it out. They realize people are not paying them any attention at all, and that pisses them off. And they become more radical and more threatening and more desperate, hysterical in how they're behaving and acting. So, like I said, there's a lot we don't know. There's just a lot we don't know. And I actually feel fantastic about that, because what I've known hasn't been comfortable with me. That you have to be, like I said, getting all the attention all the time, that you have to look a certain way, you have to talk a certain way, you have to walk a certain way. You have to have this on your resume, you have to have that on your resume. You need to have this background, that background. And it's a bunch of garbage. A lot of it's a bunch of garbage and wasteful and draining people of their energy and draining people of their money and resources. So that's what I'm doing. And I love it. Like I said, I love self-educating myself and thinking for myself and figuring it out on my own. And then if I need some help, I'll go to the certain places to see if I can get some more clarity, some more understanding, It's so important to, and a lot of people cheat anyway. A lot of these so-called leaders in these positions and these people that are bestowed as so knowledgeable, you will find out. And AI is going to expose that too. Remember, AI is neutral. We don't know the impact of AI now. We only are scratching the surface. AI is going to uncover a lot of this, lying about their educational backgrounds, lying about their so-called knowledge, and lying about their so-called the classes they may have taken. I've talked to several people, and I've said this before. Back in the day, I used to go into nightclubs, I can't dance. So let's make that clear. Can't dance. But I remember going into these nightclubs back in the day in the 90s, and you can go in there and get you a drink on, and you can also buy you a MBA back in the day. They were selling MBAs at bars and clubs and gatherings. Okay, so that people can lie about saying they guys got an MBA. Those things were on sale, honey, at the club nearby, at a club near you. You know what I mean? So you'll find out, and like I said, AI is going to expose that too, that a lot of people are had for decades upon decades, possibly generations, have padded their resumes, have padded their experiences, and they've had none of those type of experiences because they cheated. They've cheated. Okay, and they found people to, because everybody has a price, when you haven't developed yourself. I'm developed and I understand what that means. But if you haven't developed yourself and understand that you have to have morals and ethics and values, virtues, you can easily be bought. So yes, I remember going in a club back in the day, and like I said, MBAs were on sale, honey. Get you one, attach it to your resume, and other kind of filters to give people this illusion that they are so much more than they are. Some of them have never stepped a foot into a college, into a classroom, because somebody's always protected them from that and sheltered them from that. That's already been proven with the scandals and the college scandals, admission scandals. Honey, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Okay? tip of the iceberg. These so-called elites are going to be exposed, but you know what? It's not going to really matter too much to them being exposed, because a lot of them see that as an opportunity anyway. Narcissistic type personalities, any attention is great attention for them. So even if you do expose it, they didn't go to this college or they didn't go to that college, they didn't step a foot in this classroom, it's not going to really matter to them because they don't have that type of development where they understand accountability and responsibility. That's foreign to them. It's meaningless to them. They just said, well, it's another opportunity. All I need to do is, surround myself with the same like-mindedness and revamp myself into something or morph myself into something else. That's what narcissistic people do. They just kind of, snake themselves into something else. And it's business as usual for them. They are usually not harmed at all. So I know we're making a big deal about this major narcissistic person being arrested. Watch what happens. Okay, watch what happens. And don't, just like I said, just watch, feel, and see what happens with that situation. Okay. So self-education is that highlights my day. Really, it really does, because it allows me to research and think about things I find curious, I find mysterious, because I love mysteries of life. I love mysteries of the universe. I love, only reason why I don't care too much for mysteries and secrets of human beings is because that's dangerous. We ought not to be secret. A human being is a human being. Okay, there ought to be no mysteries in such a way about that. You need to present who you are to people, who you are, what you are, why you are. You need to present that forward immediately. Okay, and if you have secrets and you wait until you get yourself all worked up into someone and know everything about this person's background, family, and then you want to throw a secret on someone, that is abuse, and a lot of people do that. So like I said, there's no mystery to being a human being. We came with instructions, and we've been human beings per se for millions of years, anywhere from 10 million to 25 million years. So our being, our humaneness, our what we see here in flesh is nothing new. It's nothing new at all. There is no mystery about being a human being. We came with instructions already attached, built in, okay, via our consciousness, our psyche, whatever you want to say, our spirit form, whatever. The words are irrelevant. It's the process and and like I said, the words are not going to mean anything right now. That's why I try to speak in layman's term. I want to speak, I speak visually, but at the same time, I want you to understand me. And I don't want to, act as though I'm so much better than you and that I know so much more. That's bullshit. Oh my God, I get so annoyed with that because it's a false sense of self. A lot of people are just running around rambling about all this knowledge they think they have. I can pick it out very quickly when it's all about bestowing yourself as better and arrogant. It's in the tones. It's in your way you are structuring your sounds. That's how you can pick up condescending, and arrogance and anger and jealousy and envy. That stuff is in the sounds of how people are talking. I can pick it up right away. And then, because like I said, even though auditory is not one of my, sometimes when I say I'm not listening, I am listening, but I'm paying attention to other things. I'm looking around, making sure the environment is safe. So sometimes I'll have to have people. So I'll miss some conversation because I've had people say that, Michelle, are you listening to me? Yeah, I'm listening. But do you know we are standing in the middle of traffic right now, arguing? Oh gosh. So don't ever believe, because it's a belief, that I'm not listening, even though I'm a visionary type person and I enjoy looking at I have my auditory is strong too. My feelings too, but I know how to manage my feelings and emotions. And so the same thing about auditory, unfortunately, they do they hear, but they're so easily distracted, so they have to work on, making sure that their environment is safe. They have to work on that, because that's how they get themselves in trouble, either getting, running into a wall. Sorry, running into things and getting themselves injured and not paying attention, because they're so consumed with sound and sound and sound. And sometimes they miss the dangers of stuff happening until they're right up on it. So anyway, there's so much to say, so much to do. But to learning is so fascinating to me. It's so enriching, and it brings me so much joy that I can understand other things about the realities of life, and that is not what we're being taught in school, not at all. So we need to get over that illusion and delusion of such, and revamp that, do something differently about all of that stuff, and find out, what it means to know something instead of memorizing something. Right? A lot of us, that's all we did in school is memorize stuff. And so if I didn't visually see it, I'm not gonna memorize shit. You know what I'm saying? That's just not how I learn. I learn by example. I learn by modeling. Model the behavior you want me to, da 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 da. Model the instructions and blah blah blah. So it's important for educators to understand what the modalities are of their students. Are they a visual type? Okay, have more visual aid up. Are they auditory type? Okay, have something more auditory. Feelers and their feelings. You gotta be creative, and figure it out, and teach. Because we're all in this together. We only have one planet. All right, they're talking about Mars and they're talking about the moon, but they're going to have a rude awakening about that as well. Okay, a rude awakening. Putting all their resources there, because that's what's happening when you see all this stuff going off in the East Coast. Where is that stuff going? Okay, and there's a reason why you can't really see the actual images of the moon. Okay, and I'll stop there and won't say any more about that. So yeah, so consider self-educating yourself in something that you desire to have more information about, and make it more about anything but yourself. How about that? Because the more you take in, that's how you develop yourself anyway. And you're taking in stuff. You don't have it. When it comes to knowledge, you take in knowledge and you process it properly and use it in experiences. I know a lot of people think they're just a book of knowledge, which is a bunch of crap. It's just we're gonna have to come off of that and realize, that's not giving certain people in certain positions. Like I said, they're gonna realize they have been used and abused, and no one cares anything about particular people that are contributing so much and involved in so much. And they're going to realize that they have been used, and at some point, usually those type of people disappear. Keep that in mind as well. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and send peace and love. Go ahead and get finish up with my breakfast, drinking my coffee, relaxing, and planning for other adventures, discoveries. And so peace and love, everybody. Trust me, I'll be back.